Dax has been treated for 7 muscle pulls, 2 contusions, and 3 cracked ribs just this month. Lita tells Quark to get his own damn hand-squeezed snail juice. And Worf and Dax have much to discuss. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 7th Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
We're joined by a very special guest today, Chase Masterson. You know her, you love her.
Yeah.
Lita.
Hey, guys. So great.
The amazing, the wonderful.
You're very kind. Great to be back. Hi.
Awesome. My name is Ryan T. Husk. By the way, today we're doing a review of Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 7, Let He Who Is Without Sin, written by Robert Hewitt Wolfe, and Ira Stephen Bear, directed by Rene Aubergenois. I hadn't noticed that until I looked it up just now. This was November 11th, 1996. How you guys doing?
Wow.
Doing well.
On another lifetime.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Real quick, do you have any memories of Rene as a director, working with him as a director?
I do. There was one thing that Rene was doing with my character and with Worf, which I found really interesting. He wanted Lita to be super light in this episode, and I was trying to have her be a little more grounded, but because Worf was such a heavy, he said he wanted me to be light and get more on his nerves, I guess. And that kind of went against what I wanted to do, but that's what he kept coaching me to do, like over and over a few times. And I didn't want to, disappoint and hold up production, so I did it. And that grated on my nerves a little bit, but I have to say, overall, I've heard what fans say. I love this episode. I had a blast with it. I think Vanessa Williams was incredible. Sorry if I just jumped the gun on that, but I think it was really lovely in so many ways.
Yeah, Cirroc, we'll get a little bit more into all this a little bit later, but when you guys mentioned, Chase, how Rene wanted it to be lighter, or you specifically, I also noticed before I realized that he directed that Odo played himself more lightly.
I hadn't thought of that.
I wonder if he as an actor was trying to match the tone of the episode, because remember when he was talking with Sisko, just in, I think possibly their only scene, and
I don't remember Odo in the episode, so you got to refresh my memory.
At the beginning of the episode, he was talking with Sisko, and Dax comes in, and that's when they say, "Oh, you got all these broken ribs and all this or that," and they're like, "You should see Worf." But Dax says Worf is upset because I had lunch with Captain Baudet, who's got the transparent skull. And Odo says the Galamite. Oh, and then before that was when he acted silly, when he said something about what the situation was with with Risa.
Yeah, with Risa.
Oh no, it was when he said that they talked so much when he said that Sean means swamp in Bajoran. And Sisko says somebody should tell him, and Odo says, "I nominate you." Anyway, that was a long explanation. Before we get into too much of this stuff, Cirroc, you've got something to show us, right?
Oh, well, yes. Obviously, I want to give a shout out to Be Kind, Chase Masterson.
Thank you.
We love what you do.
Kind.
And also a special shout out to Homer Frizzell for putting it all together for us, and you too, Ryan, making the magic happen.
Homer Frizzell, you're wonderful.
We love Homer. He's amazing.
Speak for yourself.
All right, well, I'll speak for myself.
We love
He's a man's man. We love this guy. But Chase, also wanted to say, I want to make sure that I give you the proper credit and thank you on camera and on air, because you were so generous to call me up and reach out to me about this project that you were working on with Matt Campbell, Matt Berman, and I mean, it was just really amazing for you to think about me, and also for me to be a part of such a really good project, this Wedding Pact 2 film. It was a real pleasure to work on. I love the crew, love the cast, and just a little bit hats off to you. And maybe you can give us a little explanation how you got involved with it.
Well, that is so sweet. And Cirroc, I hear you are amazing in this movie. I wish I'd been able to be there on the day. But Matt says you're incredible. And really, it was Matt Berman that I was doing the favor for, because he wanted you, loves your work, and you are such a fantastic actor. And I just, I know how life goes up and down, and especially for people who got their start as a kid. But you're really, really talented, so good, and you've got such a great look, clearly, and you should be working. And I hope this is the start of a whole bunch of new cool things for you.
Well, I just want people to know that not only do you say that, but you actually put your money where your mouth is, and gave me the call, reach out to me, gave me the opportunity to work on this project. Such a great atmosphere to be a part of. And I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for not only those thoughts, but the action that came behind it. And yeah, Trace, it was just really fun to be on the set. And, this is actually coming out of COVID. So, productions are back up running, and people are able to interact more. And I think all of us were grateful to be getting back in the mix and be on camera, especially me, who has taken a big hiatus. But yeah, I want to say that, seeing Connor, I don't want to give too much away about who's in the movie or what's going on, but I did get a chance to run into Connor on the set, and I didn't get a chance to see you, but the fact that there are people that I know and have real fond feelings for also in the production just makes it that much more special.
That's so great to hear. And, it's always great when Star Trek family gets together and gets to work together again. And I'm just excited to see you work again. But tell us, I know some, but tell us more about your role.
Well, interestingly enough, they said I'm playing this kind of a real estate developer character. And we've had our share of real estate developers in the last few years, so yeah. I got a little insight on what that's like. But they asked me, one of the things was you have to be ready with a suit, and those of us that know about the California lifestyle, not too many of us get to dress up with suits every day. It's kind of I'm a t-shirt, I'm an Abyssinian kiosk, or
nice
type of guy, or a be kind type of guy. So I like to relax with my t-shirts and jeans or shorts, and so I don't have too many suits in my wardrobe. So that was the biggest challenge for me, actually, was getting the wardrobe right that I wanted for the look. But as far as the script was concerned, as far as working with Matt, I mean, he's so good at explaining. He's so good at just making you feel comfortable. There was no a point in time where I felt like out of place or I felt like I was unwelcome. It was just like, hey, open arms, big. As a matter of fact, he gave me a hug the first time I saw him. It was just big hug, forget COVID, forget all that. Come here, buddy. And I felt really loved and a warm welcome. So thank you, Chase, for being a part of that and helping make that happen. And I think that this movie, Wedding Pact 2, is going to be something exciting for people to look at. The first one did very well. Obviously, they're making a sequel, but just a little segue there.
Yeah, it did very well. I anticipate really good things for this, and you're going to be wonderful by all accounts. So, yay. Yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I want to see Cirroc as a real estate developer. This is going to be great. I'm really excited to see this. Usually the only
work for you. You could do so much more of this stuff. I think it's your time, Cirroc. I really do.
I think there's a lot of opportunity going forward. I'm just going to be humble and keep trying to do my best.
Yeah.
And just take whatever opportunities come in front of me that I feel like are respectable. And this is definitely one of those. But back to this episode. Chase, you are, just so wonderful in this. I know you said that Renee asked you to be light, but I really like the way that the character portrays a confident woman. I think that's something that really stood out to me. I wrote down, for example, the scene where you're getting a massage, and you're going through that. And I said, well, that's really creative, because that's something they would mostly put on the male characters or trying to get their massage on and whatnot. True. But I like that they that you were the person that was confident enough to, I'm going to get my thing. I'm getting my relaxation on. I don't care what's going on. And I thought that was progressive.
That is progressive. I had never actually thought of that. I just, as a woman who gets massages occasionally, but you're right. Like typically in television, it's the guy who's laying there and the woman who's doing the work. Yeah. And that's interesting. I personally, thank you so much for your kind words. I loved this episode for this reason for Lita. I mean, I loved it overall for many reasons, but what I loved for Lita about this was that, obviously, I broke up with the cute British doctor to get with, because I loved, really unrequitedly at that point, because I loved the guy who was only pretty on the inside. And it was such a Star Trek message to really see people for who they are and to not just go by face value and to judge by externals. And there was nothing wrong with Lita and Julian. I often say, Lita and Julian were like the Barbie and Ken of Star Trek, right? Lita and Ron were like the Lucy and Ricky, right? and so there was a lot more fun and a lot more storyline, I think, that opened up with Lita and Rom dating, but this didn't happen yet because, this was unrequited love on Lita's part. So I thought it was a bold move on her part, to go from a sure thing that would look good to anybody else, but where I wasn't really happy, where I was kind of, I don't know, settling, to go for the guy that I really loved and that really turned me on. And I love that.
It was also very honest of your character. Not that you're just going from one person to the next, but that you're saying, look, I have feelings for somebody else, which means I can't in good conscience stay with you.
Yes.
I feel like there was a lot of integrity in a move like that. And that, that's it's just it shows a lot about Lita. And maybe you played the character light, or the character was written light, but as Cirroc says, there's confidence in that. Jadzia does the same thing. She's light, but confident. It's not light because there's nothing going on in the head. It's light because she chooses to be a happy person. What do they say? The simplicity in nature is the direct result of profound thought, right? And so if you know who you are and you think deeply and you are very comfortable with all that stuff, usually are very simple in nature. You keep things simple, you keep things light. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and I thought that Bashir in this episode kind of did like a typical guy thing where he's like, I get to hook up with girls on my breakup. This is like,
on the other side of the spectrum,
yeah, he's completely on the other side of the spectrum. He had no real thought into the relationship. Like, you were over here pondering about weighing, breaking his heart with somebody that you actually have a real connection with. You were holding back feelings for Rom because you were in this relationship, and you're like, now I can finally speak freely. So there's like, you have this whole like calculated understanding of relationships and where you stand and what you want to accomplish. And it seems like Bashir is like so aloof, like, I guess we're breaking up. I guess, this is cool. Yeah,
we're good.
Well, probably because she told him what breaking up entails, and he's like, well, hang on a second. I'm listening. All right, maybe we should break up.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, Risa's got a lot of hot babes, and it was interesting that what Ira said about this was a very parallel thing. He said, and he actually had mentioned this to Max, and that's how I know this story. He said he took Max on a long walk, and he said, so son, we're going to give you Lita. And he said, you are? What? And Ira said, yeah, because we want to keep Bashir single, because a lot of people, are attracted to Bashir. And Rom is like, oh, thank you.
That sounds exactly like Rom.
It was a very TV move, but it was also a very Star Trek move, I think, and I appreciated all of the cool things that it made happen.
Yeah, I think that the character works better. Your character gets more shine
Totally.
in a ROM relationship.
Yeah.
And I love the dynamic between you because the conversations are spicier, the back and forth is juicier, I believe, than what you and Bashir had going for you. You know, it was kind of it was more like a fling, essentially, because it was like, you know, hooking up. We're two attractive people, you know.
Right. It
Let's hook
seems
up.
like it's the third level in your character's growth. Like the initial level is she's a Dabo girl. Then the
Yeah.
next level is she's one of the lead's girlfriends. You know, she's
Oh.
one of Bashir's girlfriends or something,
Wait,
you know. But then now this next level is you're pretty much on an even level with Rom. The two of you are now like a new kind of power couple. Not you're one of the character's girlfriends. The two of you are your own story, and that's definitely, I think, a third level to the growth of your character.
Thank you, Ryan. It was wonderful playing Laura Petrie to Max Grodenchik's Rob. Oh, Rob.
Yeah. I don't necessarily. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chase, but I just have to disagree a little bit with Ryan. I just don't necessarily think that. I don't think this is the episode that propels her up to another level. I believe that the episode that we watched where they were starting the bar association,
Right, that's a great one.
Where Lita stands up, she shows that she's attracted to Rom's confidence and his willingness to defy his brother. I think that showed me the biggest growth in her character, that she was like, oh, who is this person? She's like got her own mind. She's sassy, she's smart, she's beautiful. And that's when I really noticed I never really put her on like, oh, that's Bashir's girlfriend. That moment is when I saw her as, oh, that's an independent woman who we have to keep an eye on, who's on the station. To me, that's the big jump.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That means a lot. That's really cool. And actually, I was going to say something very much to that effect. I think the growth of Lita did start with Bar Association, with standing up for justice and for what was right and risking my job, walking out, basically, all of that. That is such a very important message, for treating people, workers well. And I think that was definitely a growth in Lita's character, showing strength and compassion and conviction. And yes, I was attracted to Rom back then. That's when they started.
That's where it started. Yeah.
Together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, Lita was more than a girlfriend. I'm very happy about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, because the image of the Dabo girl is somebody who's just a pretty but doesn't have a brain, somebody who doesn't have something else to offer. And I think she transcends that when she shows us that she has principles and morals and character, and that is what she's attracted to. Then when you see that, it's like, oh, she's not attracted to just somebody who's pretty or somebody who's got a lot of money at Double Wheel. But she's actually attracted to somebody who stands up for themselves, somebody who's not afraid to take chances and risks, somebody who's going to stand up for others. And so I believe that's where I think she started to define herself as somebody who separates from just a Dabo girl. This is a woman that's strong and needs to be paid attention to.
Thank you. So well said. And it's so much better coming from you. Thank you.
It's what I saw. Just reiterating what I saw. That's what I believe to be the truth.
That's really nice. Thank you. That's certainly what we were going for. And I was grateful to have those storylines. Ira and Ron and Renee Echevarria, who created Lita, they're so good at writing women. And they, I think so many of the Star Trek writers are, and what a great show to be on, to have been on, right? I mean, you had so many things that were so much deeper and richer, with you and Avery, and just so much, even, and even the fun with Aaron, with Nog, and, it was all imbued with meaning, so much richer than they usually write for kids. And what an honor of a show to be on. And you filled those shoes so beautifully. And I think that's part of why fans love you so much and feel like kind of a possession of like a real connection with Jake.
Yeah. I have a question. Where was this episode filmed? Because I saw some beach in the background. I saw water in the background.
Yeah, I definitely I was definitely wondering about that too.
It was shot in Malibu, northern Malibu.
Right.
And I don't have to tell you, Cirroc, my gosh, how great it was to get out of the studio.
Yeah.
That's what everyone was talking about, and to be by the beach. And they dressed it even more with this, hyacinth and hydrangeas or whatever those, just really a beautiful paradise that they created.
Yes.
Which was so lovely. But
that's one of the things I used to be envious of, is when I watch certain shows and I see that they're on location all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, God, I wish I was on a show that could film on location and be on the streets in New York and be here and be there. Because that was the one thing about DS9. We spent a lot of time on sound stages. And if you weren't at a sound stage, you were at the ADR. So just mostly indoor and enclosed, and you didn't get as many location shoots. So I'm sure that the cast and the crew were happy to be out by the beach, and they could throw a football during lunch break.
No, it was fun. It was really fun, and we missed you in that episode. Why did they not have you go to Risa? Were you?
Yes, Cirroc.
Yeah, I'm not old enough for Risa. Clearly,
you were 18.
Getting off the shuttlecraft. Yeah.
Dad was not letting me go. No, my dad would said no to Risa. Not yet. You're not old enough. You got to go graduate first.
Makes
sense.
I
do have some interesting stories about Vanessa Williams that I can get into on the second half of the other side of this. I would like to get a little bit into those little private stories.
Definitely. And we do have a couple minutes left in this segment. So let's finish up on the location, because it really, and I believe it really gave us this impression of, a different place. I mean, the outfits were very 90s. The outfits and the haircuts were hysterically 90s, but not on you guys, but like the extras that they had. There was one surfer dude with blonde hair who had the mushroom haircut. It was good stuff. It was good memories.
Yeah.
But when you were there, was there like a certain vibe or a certain buzz? Were you just kind of a little bit more relaxed? Or was the AD yelling at everybody, stop being so relaxed? We still got to make our day.
It's always like that. It's always making our day, but there was certainly an aura of fun there. I do have one other really super fun story I can tell after the break if you'd like, and it'll be quick. But I remember one thing. I was called at 1:20 in the morning.
What?
Yes, because they wanted to get all the daylight they could, and 3 hours to do makeup, I guess, which was what it was, and get onto set. I think they were using dawn light, so that was, that's showbiz. Go to bed at what, 4 p.m. But anyway, I can't wait to tell you this other quick story later after the break.
How are you able to act perky after waking up at 1:20 a.m.?
It's your job and it's your honor, right?
Wow.
It's your honor. How about
you get up for these things, because especially when you know that you're a focal point of the episode, and all of us wait for that opportunity. The first thing you do when you get a script is to see how much you're in it, or if you're in it at all.
I know.
Right. And if it's just one line, one scene, not that you don't appreciate that, because we all appreciate the opportunity to work in this business.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, well, that's one day. I could probably half a day and I'll go in and I'll be done. But when you know that you're a focal point, and you get those so rare because there's so many people to focus on.
Yeah.
You're up for it, Ryan. You're excited about it. This is what we live for. This is what we train for. This is what we do.
I bet.
Waited for you were little tiny kid. I mean,
I bet everybody watching this right now is saying, I would get up at 1 in the freaking morning to go do this. Everybody's down for it.
We're not carrying bricks on our head in the Congo. I mean, these were good jobs.
These are good jobs. These are
Absolutely.
exciting. And you're doing what you've always wanted to do, and you're part of this, television history when you're making this kind of work.
Right.
So it's like you get up for it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And you
Nice.
stay up for it. So you'll be up until midnight and keep it going.
Yeah.
Cherishing every minute, really.
Yeah.
And that, that's one thing I've said about Deep Space Nine, and I'll say it again, just briefly. We knew what we had when we had it. And that's such an important thing to be able to do in life, is to take those moments and really appreciate them while they're happening. We knew what we had was really special, that we were telling stories that were transcendent, that mattered, that were fun, that people were waiting on pins and needles for, and that we would get to meet those people. And right, Cirroc, we cherished every moment of it.
We cherished every moment of it. And, you don't get the reaction in real time, like if you're doing a play. You don't get that, clapping audience, you don't get the standing ovation. But what you do get is looking your co-workers in the eye, and that they're giving just as much as you are. They're getting up too to be there. They're showing up to, they're sacrificing their life or their time or their abilities being contributed to the same kind of outcome. So when you see and you look across the room and you see everybody in the trenches with you, it's even more of a motivating factor.
Yeah, such a great hardworking team that we had too. BJ, the AD, and Lou, and everybody.
And everybody, the makeup, and Camille, and the hair. It's just everybody really committing to making it work. So. But yeah, let's get to the break, Ryan. I know you want to cut to the break, and we'll get to some of these other stories. I want to hear Chase's story, and I've got my Vanessa Williams story.
Yeah, that's really important, though, that you were aware of what you had when you had it. That's something that most people, that's always the advice that they give. Cherish what you have, enjoy your youth, enjoy what you have. So that's amazing that you guys had the wisdom and the wherewithal to appreciate it while you had it. That's awesome.
Even now, every day, I mean, what we have will, some people, many people, most people don't.
Right.
So cherish day. That's something we can all do. Right.
Mm-hmm. And very quickly, everybody at home, Cirroc mentioned Abyssinian Kiosk, and he showed off the Be Kind merchandise. So please check in the description box below to click on those links. Buy some goodies from Cirroc's sister, Abyssinian Kiosk, and from Chase's awesome website as well with the Be Kind merch. We're going to come right back on the other side on the seventh rule. Hey everybody, welcome back to the seventh rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello.
We've got special guest Chase Masterson with us today.
Yay.
And we are discussing Let He Who Is Without Sin, Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 7. A very iconic episode. There are, I believe, a couple episodes in Next Generation where Picard goes to Risa and all the hijinks that goes on there. At least one. But this is the one for Deep Space Nine. And this is the one everybody remembers it. All you have to say is the one where they go to Risa and everybody says, whoa, that's cool. I know that one. So very quickly, the trivioids that we had today, that were many, that may or may not have made the cutting room floor. We have Morn brings a lady a flower type thing. I don't know if it really was a flower. Sean means swamp and Bajoran. Dax has been treated for 7 muscle pulls, 2 contusions, and 3 cracked ribs this month. Risa makes Hubashan baths look like a monastery. I think that's what Sisko said. Worf is upset because Dax had lunch with Captain Baudet. Worf and Dax have much to discuss. Quark wouldn't give Lita any time off unless they promised to take him with them. Quark orders a snail juice, hand squeezed. I'm not even. Arandis is the chief facilitator for the entire Tem-Tibby Lagoon. Icoberry juice makes Dax's spot itch. Quark would never have agreed to be a witness if he knew it was going to be this civil when they were breaking up. That was a fun little line. Worf walks in on Dax and Arandis doing the ghost scene. Julian says Dax is too much work, and there's no word for crisp on Ferenginar. Oh, and lastly, Worf goes skinny dipping, by the way. Implied skinny dipping.
We've been waiting for that.
Yeah, is that your bath or you're happy to see me?
Hey, hey, what?
Save that one for sweet. That's it.
That's it. That's all I got.
So Chase has promised us a story. Is that right?
I have. So this day when we beam in was the day that Nana and Sid had a baby, had Django. And
oh wow.
So it was at the part where he was beaming in and he got the news. And as I remember it, she had just given birth. I don't think I may be wrong. It was a while back, but it was right then and there. And it was like, we got to shoot this, beam in, get out of here, Sid, so that he could run and be with her.
Oh, wow.
So I know, right? I mean, what an incredible intersection of real life and, you know, having to be at work on such a day. And now Django is what? A big boy.
25.
Yeah, that's amazing. No wonder Kira's not in this episode. She was a little bit preoccupied.
She's popping.
Was Sid nervous that day? Excited? Do you remember anything like that? Was he checking I guess he wasn't checking his cell phone.
Absolutely checking. And it was, he was nervous and it was all the buzz. And it was a very, very big deal. But, you know, the interesting thing is he stayed for the shot. He had to get the shot. So I just thought that was interesting. So,
you know, when I was watching this episode, one of the things is that picture behind Ryan of Sid. And I just thought, wow, he is so thin. I think he's thinner than I am. And I'm like 17 in this episode. I mean, at this time. So I'm thinking, how is he? Like, he must have been really thin. Like, he wasn't eating anything.
Wait, who was this?
Sid.
Siddig. Yeah, Siddig.
I'm sorry. My brain.
Yeah, I thought he was like,
he was always thin, wasn't he?
He's always been thin, yes, but I didn't realize it because you never see him outside of a uniform. It's hard to gauge inside of the uniform, but like in this tank top he has on, I was like, wow, he's just like super thin. I'm sure he's thinner than I am at that.
Body fat. And Nana too. You know, Nana being a dancer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she was she still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a size 0. It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, I had a story too for this. Now I believe this is the first time Vanessa Williams appears in our show, right? Yeah. If not the
in any Star Trek,
right.
In any Star Trek, yeah.
So I wasn't working in this episode, but oftentimes I would go down to the set and do some stuff on days that I wasn't working. And on those particular days, I would go back to my trailer and just hang out there if I felt like just relaxing and laying my head down for a minute. But so I go to my trailer. This is an off day. I'm not scheduled to work, but I'm hanging out at the set and, you know, I'm there. And I go to my trailer, I put the key in, I open the door and I walk in on Vanessa Williams, right? And I don't know, she might have been changing or something, but she wasn't like, you know, she wasn't like exposed, but she was in the middle of doing something. And I walked in on her and I'm stuck, right? And I'm like, Vanessa Williams, is this like a present for me? I have the biggest crush on you. Hello. And you know, she's kind of startled, like, you know, who are you? And I'm like, Cirroc, this is my trailer. And she said, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, you know, they gave me your trailer to use because you're not working in this episode.
Right. Oh.
And I was like, oh no problem. You can go back to stay. I'm not asking you, please stay. And I will come after you leave and just soak in the aroma of your beauty. But yes, I did run into Vanessa Williams while she was guest starring in this episode. Got to meet her in that moment, and I was really excited because obviously she's like a legendary, beautiful person, and that was like amazing for me.
That is quite a treat for a 12-year-old boy or anyone.
any guy at that point.
What childhood you had, my dear.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was completely blown away, and she's so gracious, so elegant and soft spoken, and she's just a joy to be around. And I got that even from the 5 minutes that I spent talking to her. I didn't get a chance to do scenes like you did, but I was just completely blown away by how gracious she was and her humility. So maybe you can add to that.
I completely.
You got a chance to work with her.
Yes, she was so lovely. You guys, Vanessa Williams is as lovely on the inside as she is out. Wow. And we know that's saying something. She's just
saying something.
She is beautiful as a person. Yeah. She was so lovely and elegant and soft spoken. And I was really struck by how, I'll tell you this, it's not easy to be a guest star. It's, thankfully we had a long enough run where it was lovely and it was home. But I've guested on other shows, and even at first on Deep Space Nine, you don't know anybody. Everyone else knows each other really well. You're not in on any of the in-jokes. You don't know the set dynamics, the other actor dynamics. Sometimes there's weird energy, and for her to come on and be so, well, I'll say this. She's obviously a woman who's had to be self-possessed. And because of what happened with her Miss America thing, I know that was quite a while before this, but that could take a chunk out of someone's heart, she was just treated really unfairly, I think. And it's clear. And she was so lovely, even still. No defenses, not, no chip, no protectionary devices or coldness. She was just genuine and present. And I really respect her so much for that, especially all things considered. It was lovely working with her.
Yeah.
That's just real quick. That's an interesting point that you made that I hadn't really considered too much about being a guest star as well, which is, you show up on season 3 or season 5 or season 10 of a show and you're nervous, you're working your lines, you're trying to be professional, everybody's nice. And then somebody goes, oh boy, it's a purple day. And everybody goes, purple. And you're like, what? I have no idea what that, but everybody's laughing. Everybody, don't tell Jim it's purple. And you're just like, okay, I'm just completely out of place here. So it's got to be tough. And you're saying Vanessa just came right in, comfortable, elegant, classy. That's really cool.
Yeah. It can really take nerves of steel. I mean, I guested on a lot of shows during this period. That's what I did. I was a guest actor, and I have a lot of respect for anybody who does that well, just because it's especially, sorry to go on about it, but when this wasn't the case for Vanessa, but when it's near the beginning of your career, like it was for some of us, including me, I'd worked a little, but not a lot. And so it's quite a learning curve.
I think what's special for me is we have images of people in our mind from what we've seen them do. And sometimes those things, we put them on pedestals and say, oh God, she's so beautiful and she's so charming. She's so smart. She must be amazing. And then sometimes you meet the person and they're not what you thought. But with her, and in the same case as with you, Chase, is you are as beautiful and lovely as you think you are when you finally meet you. And that's what's impressive about people, is when they live up to the expectation that you have of them, and you're really blown away that you didn't mistakenly put them at such a high level, that they actually are that person that you thought they were. And I think, Chase, you're just like that. You're so amazing, and the people that see you talk in these interviews, if they get a chance to meet you on the street somewhere, they're going to see the same exact Chase that they have this faith in. So
when the camera's turned off, it's the same person.
Yeah, it's the same person.
That means that means so much, Cirroc, especially truly coming from you, because you're so genuine and you're just so just like an ordinary guy. And even when you were right on the show every single week, you were just this sweet boy who was, just really nice to everyone. And they say
What happened?
they
No, did it. I'm blaming my.
This brings up the issue of conventions a bit, because they say never meet your heroes, and yet that's we do a lot of these, and we can do them all day long, from you're signing from 9 a.m. till they close the room at 7, and you flew 5 hours to get there, whatever it is. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying it's a bit like theater. You don't want to have a bad night, because this is their only, the person that's coming up at the end of the day when you're exhausted and your feet hurt and your outfit is too tight. I don't think you have that, but I do. And
I used to.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
And you're maybe you're frustrated because the last guy hugged you a little weird, and you're like, I don't know about you people. But then you have to come back and go, you know what? No, they're lovely. There's 99.999% of Star Trek fans I've ever met are just the sweetest, most genuine people, and they deserve us to be present, just like it was closing night, just like you give the show to the people in the back row and the front row. So that's just an aspect of this work that I think is so important.
And if it's genuinely who you are, then it's not really a challenge. It's not a struggle, because you are naturally a good person. You're fun to talk to. You're charming. You have so many ideas. You have so much good conversations with people, and you make people feel warm and welcome. So when it's not difficult. The only difficult thing is what you're talking about, is hours and hours and hours. It's draining on a person to be on point and ready. It's just whoever you are. Martin Luther King giving a speech for 10 hours, he's gonna be tired after hour number 2. Even though it's a great speech, it's just like it's hard to continue to deliver. But I just want to say that's what makes people stand out, is when you meet your heroes, when you meet the people that you see on screen, and you are not disappointed, and they deliver, and they give you the same in-person experience that you felt on screen. It's the same as listening to your favorite musician, and you're like, you go to see them in concert, and you're like, wow, that song sounds like in concert as good or better than on the CD, And you love getting that. You're like, wow, this is not fake. This wasn't engineered in the studio. This wasn't made with special effects. This person can sing this good, and this music is really that good. So I think it's the same kind of satisfaction that we get from being around good people like yourself, Chase, and all the work that you do to help other people and be conscious of everybody else's freedoms and rights, and being an advocate for people that don't have voice for themselves. I think all of that needs to be taken into account for just how tremendously impactful you have been in the world, Chase. So we thank you for that. And all of us really thank you for that. So we encourage you to go out and be kind and support the Be Kind movement and agenda.
Thank you. Thank you. That means so much, Cirroc. It really, truly does. Thank you. And, I'll just say again, all we have to do is open our eyes to the person who's in front of us at the table, and then you see, oh my God, you're so lovely. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I really know it's nice to meet you. And to open our eyes to the things that are happening in the world. It's so easy to get involved in our own stuff, and then all we have to do is look and see that, if you're watching this, like, we're pretty lucky. And it's wonderful, and it's really fun to reach out and help people who need. So thanks.
I love it. And we mentioned this before. We talked about the writers and how they really take I think a purposeful effort to write strong female characters, and Dax also has that in this episode. She
Right.
also has a role to play where she's, she says to Worf at some point, I'm not going to change who I am. Like, you're not
Right.
you're not going to whip me into your housewife, woman.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going to be an independent woman. I'm going to speak my mind. You're not going to shut me up.
And she
Right.
said it in retort to Worf, thinking he's putting his foot down, saying, I am not going to change. And she's like, well, neither am I. Like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Right.
not just you, man.
Yeah. It's pretty typical of a lot of relationships, that people get in a relationship expecting each other to change. Well, I don't know why they do, but that seems to happen a lot, and it's obviously impossible. It just doesn't happen. And being able to, I don't know what the word is, just take joy in who a person is. If something doesn't agree with you, well, I'm sorry, it's not a salad bar. Relationships are not a salad bar. It's a combo plate. You either have it or you don't, right? So that brought up some really interesting issues with Worf and Dax, and I love the way she stood up to him.
And another, sorry, Ryan, I'll let you go in.
I was kind of segueing into something else, but go ahead.
Well, just to segue off of what you were saying about about relationships and asking people to change, what I really think is a big point that was made in this episode, Worf wasn't approving of Lita, right? He wasn't approving of Lita's behavior. That's not Bashir she's with, right?
Right.
And I think what we really get out of this is, it is not for somebody outside of the relationship to judge what somebody in a relationship does.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's their business. If they want to do whatever it is, however they want to live their life.
Yep.
Being free, whether it's adding partners into your relationship, or choosing how you want to love, or whom you want to love, or how you want to love. Yeah. All of that is the decision between two people that are making their own relationship together. And it's not for people on the outside to sit there and judge and say, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. Or I think that was one of the big things I walked away from in this episode as well. It's like, it's none of your business.
Yeah. So well said. Absolutely. I mean, Worf is just being a grumpy ass.
That's Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of great dynamics. Here, I have a question. This is a really candid question, and I honestly don't know the answer to it. What is it about this episode that fans grumble about?
Well,
that they are grumpy ass about. Really, I mean, what? I never understood that, but I've heard it has a kind of a weird vibe with some fans, and I think because of all the great things that you just said, Cirroc, that there are some really strong, powerful messages, and that you mentioned earlier, Ryan. I loved it. What?
Yeah.
Right. So, as a fan, let me tell you a quick thought on that, because it does have, you're right, a pretty low IMDb score. And I think, because I haven't really heard anything, I'm sure the people at the Free For All can tell us why a little later. But as a fan, when I first watched the series back in the 90s, when I was first watching everything, there were certain episodes that went during our rewatch now, I had kind of a negative connotation to, where I say like, oh, this is a boring one, or, oh yeah, this is the one where whatever. But then and I think the reason for that was because it wasn't part of a Dominion war. It wasn't like big, you're watching this Dominion war, you're watching the Klingons, you're watching all these cool things, and then you have an episode that's not that. And it kind of stands out like, oh, that's weird, or that's boring. But upon rewatching it now, these episodes, I actually almost like them, and oftentimes I do like them more than the other episodes because they're more about character development and less about the big overarching story that we already know. We've watched this once, we know the big overarching story. So I find these little standalone, interesting character things more interesting, like the Ferengi episodes, or the ones where they go on to Ferenginar. We get to learn about Ferenginar. We get to learn about this planet or that planet, or Risa. I find them to be very enjoyable. And so I think a lot of it is people vote these things or talk about these things based on what they remember from 20 years ago. They go, oh, that was the one where they, wasn't Dominion War related. Maybe that's less cool. But when you actually watch it again, I think you may enjoy it more than the other episodes because it gives you that depth into the characters that we now know and love, if that makes sense.
That is really fascinating. And, I understand if everyone's on a trajectory and they think that they're going to get the next part of the Dominion War. And then here we are having a, semi-comedic holiday. I get that on some level, but isn't that also how life is?
Yeah.
You're in an incredibly intense situation in your life, and then, oh, that happened. That's weird. That's what happens in life. Life is fluid. It flows, and we need that. Our psyches need that. Not just the comic relief, but just the everydayness is so refreshing, I think.
Yeah, I love seeing it. I love seeing it in Deep Space Nine. They're like little treats, because I remember the big overarching Dominion Wars, and I remember all these big things, and that's what you think about when you think of Deep Space Nine. And so then when you see these episodes, they're like these little hidden gems, these little treats that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. And it's very enjoyable. And I love, Cirroc and I talk about this all the time, but we love it when there's like a crew of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people. And this was a fun crew of 5 characters that ran the whole episode. It's just the 5 of you doing this whole episode. And personally, I like it very much. It's very happy. It's very fun. It's interesting. It gave me a lot of Bolians, the blue guys, which I like. It gave a lot of comedy, like Jadzia when you invite him to do the milk soak, and Worf is disapproving, and Jadzia goes, Worf, like she delivered it beautifully. It's like, oh, okay. There was a lot of great comedy in there, like when Quark says that there's no word for crisp in Ferenginar because it's gleaming right now.
Right.
Anyway, I really liked it. I love the comedy. And I put a lot of notes of the comedic parts, but I can't find them right now. One was when, it's when you, Chase, when you guys explain what your situation is to Worf so that the brute can finally get it rather than being Mr. Judgy Pants who drinks a lot of prune juice. You say, and Julian, I don't think I've completely gotten you out of my system just yet, which was brilliant.
Right? Yeah. Rub it in his nose a little. I mean, nobody gets that's the entire point of the episode. One of the points. Let he in.
Right. And Cirroc also, what did you guys think of Curzon doing the Death by Jamaharan with Arandis, Vanessa Williams' character? My first
if there's one way to go, that's the way to go right there.
Yeah.
Right. My first thought was he went and saved the best for last. Am I right?
Yeah, okay.
It's a Vanessa Williams song. Sorry.
I know. I know.
Hilarious.
I like that little line that they put in there, and they also had that you mentioned the ghost scene with Vanessa Williams and Dax kind of holding hands in that ghost kind of way.
Right.
But I'm going to say that I believe that this episode didn't get as high a mark as it should. I'm gonna put it off on the wardrobe. And
there was something there.
I'm sorry to throw Bob Blackmon under the bus on this one, because he is as good as it gets when it comes to doing future stuff.
Yeah.
But it is challenging to do some things in Star Trek, and I'm going to give bathing suits under that category, because it's hard to design a futuristic bathing suit look. They're all gonna, they haven't really evolved that much over the last 100 years that we've had bathing suits. Right. So that's one thing. And it reminds me of the episode of Next Generation where they were wearing the leotards and the little stretch outfits. You know that?
Yeah.
The work there was like a workout.
Oh yeah.
Ryan loves the photo on the back drama of Denise wearing this, with Marina wearing this
Marina and
really
Gates,
Marina and Gates wearing the these stretched leotard kind of workout outfits. And I think once that gets put into effect, people start to look less at the performance, look less at the storyline, and they're more like criticizing, like, how come that guy's, looks like, wearing that haircut, or wearing that tank top, or this and that. And it's more becomes about the visuals as opposed to the context and the dialogue and what's actually transpiring in the scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all going to stop now, because everybody that's watching this is going to go to IMDb and they're going to watch this episode again. And look, we're not saying give it a 10. We're saying go back once you've watched it again and give it the score that you think it deserves. And I'll bet you it'll be way higher when people watch it again this time, just to enjoy it. But you're right, Chase. It's kind of strange, because a lot of it is just people looking back and going, oh, that episode. Oh yeah. Or something like that. It's just what they remember from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe some, getting on the bandwagon once you've heard from somebody that they didn't like it so much. People obviously think and speak for themselves, but just getting a bad rap is never a good thing in entertainment. It doesn't help. So I don't know why this episode got a bad rap, but I loved it, and I hope you guys do go back and give it a good rating.
I loved it.
Now I do have a question for you, Chase. At this point of filming, we're in season 5, episode 7. At this point, how are you feeling? Like, what kind of inclination do you have about where you're going to go with Rom? Like, are you a little bit clued in that they're going to bring you back? It's going to be much better. You'll even be more remembered for what you do with Rom than what you've done up to this point. Do you feel like that, or do you feel like?
You mean me as an actor?
As an actor, when you're at this point in filming this episode, do you have an inclination about how much impact the Rom storyline is going to have on how we perceive Lita?
I had no idea, and I never took any of it for granted, ever. As recurring guest stars, we never had any contract. I've said that before. They could have killed us off at any time. They could have gotten Lita and Rom together and then killed me. It would be this Romeo and Juliet kind of, I don't know. I could have easily been a tragedy,
right.
Tragedy of the war or almost anything for dramatic effect. So I never thought that it was a sure thing from episode to episode. I was always thrilled when we got the call. So it was like a lot of Christmases, but it was never to be taken for granted. And I think for Lita, I know we said this earlier in the episode, but for Lita moving forward, Lita didn't know if Rom was gonna love her. I had no idea. I thought I'd give it my best shot, but I was also, it was very, very tentative. It was giving up a sure thing for not a sure thing, which not many people do. So all things considered, there was nothing set.
Wow. Spoken like our superstar, Mr. Aaron Eisenberg, about every day you get a script with your name on it. It's like Christmas. What a treat. What a gift. We do have to run over to our free-for-all. Very quickly, we don't have to guess the IMDb score, but let me give you is the nitpick. It's a very quick one.
No, there it is.
It's a very quick nitpick, number one. Let's see
Excellent.
if I can
Here it comes.
find it. If Lita invites you to a Rhea milk soak, you say yes.
That was a short one.
That was
All right.
that was. What was that?
You invited
Clearly,
Morph and Dax to a Rhea milk soak. You said, "Oh, you want to join us? We're just about to go soak in some milk," and they're like, "Oh, we better not. We'll maybe later." So we do want to thank you, though, Chase. You are amazing. You are amazing, and you will be amazing. We do appreciate it very much.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Love you guys so much. It is always so good to see your faces, both of you. And thank you for having me on. And not to be shameless, but there's some cool episodes coming up. So ask me back next year and I'd love to talk about some of those with you guys.
Yes.
That's why I said, and you
Yes.
will be amazing. And not,
Oh, yeah,
I wasn't
see.
trying
Yes.
to. I wasn't trying to push you into it, but since you said it, that's what I meant.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Love
thank you,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
We
much.
love you too.
Watch Cirroc Lofton in the Baby Pact. He's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chase. You're
Thank
amazing.
you, Chase. So we'll see you soon. Everybody stick around for the free-for-all and show Chase some love online. We'll be right back on the 7th rule.
Oh, come on.
Naughty.
No naughty pictures of you.
Hello, and welcome back to the 7th rule, where the associate producers have taken over the show. I am TJ, and we have with us today
Wow.
Eve England out in Wales, Melissa Longo, Timothy Baum, Homer Frizzell, somewhere in the great big old apple, Darlena Blander, Sue Gruner down in Gainesville, Florida, and Yvette Blackmon Tom. And today is Brian T. Husk's birthday. So we've taken over the show in celebration of that fact. We have also with us today the star of the show, Cirroc Lofton. And we are going to have no regard for what Ryan has planned. We have our own thing planned. Let's go. Happy birthday.
All right, then.
Oh, he's out. Nice. That's how you do
perfect.
it. That's a drop the mic moment.
All right. Well, my instincts are to jump in and say something, but I guess I'm not allowed to. So I guess take it away.
What do you have our undivided attention right now.
Oh, I was just going to say
Ryan,
that what
you
Homer.
got to explain everybody's backdrop. You got to tell us what scene and where you were and what you remember about.
Well, real quick, then, what Homer's got in his background was a film I was actually just talking about to my parents a couple days ago when I showed them around CSUN, Cal State Northridge, when they came to visit. And I brought them to Cal State Northridge because they have a cute little turtle pond that all the turtles are wandering around, and it's really cool. We shot this over there and also downtown at the LA River under one of the many nasty bridges. And it was a cool short film. The reason I took the role, not only because it's one of my favorite directors, Eric Marcel Jones, who's a Moroccan fellow who speaks French. So it's great to have a director that you can kind of talk shit to back and forth and nobody knows what you're saying. And then sometimes he gives me direction. Yeah, sometimes he gives me direction in French. But what was cool about this was that I'm actually talking to myself. So I get to play both kind of main characters talking to each other. And this was kind of like the main character's conscience or whatever, who's talking right there. So that was actually a lot of fun. One of my favorite roles. And the other one that Homer had, he just popped up a second ago, was really cool. That was Renegades, because you had Mr. Aaron Eisenberg there in the picture. There it is. So that's me in the blue, and you've got Aaron as that alien who he was just amazing creating a new alien character. Lots of fun there.
Wow.
Yeah. And Eve England up there, that is me playing, I believe, a Saxon when I was doing stunts for Deadliest Warrior. It was a show on Spike TV. And so basically you're just spending all day fighting in the woods, in the rain and the mud, and just stunt people. You basically just fall 40 times a day. That's all it is. It's falling, and it's falling in the mud. But It's not your clothes, it's not your stuff, so you don't care. It's a lot of fun, and you get to fight and play with sticks, like when you're a kid in the backyard. Melissa's got something that Silicon Valley Comic-Con made for me when I was a guest up there, I think in like 2018 or 19. Cirroc has an awesome Vegas hat. We'll be seeing you guys there in a couple months. Tim is showing off a picture that I said was for his eyes only. But you can't trust anybody nowadays.
You weren't supposed to share that, Tim.
Just an FYI, that was one of several picks, and the other ones are not safe for the show.
Oh, wow.
They were on the
Yeah, no.
I like not safe.
Research after the message from Eve, I researched this, and it's like I found some. It's like, okay, I'll go with this one.
And enough about that one. TJ is
we need more about that one.
Right.
I thought that was the creme de la creme over there.
Yeah.
Shirt off.
too much.
I'm curious how he got into that role, like what his motivation was.
But yeah, we could talk about that. But before we do that, TJ is showing off. It's a Star Trek Continues episode 3, I believe, fairest of them all, where it's a mirror universe episode. So that was a lot of fun being on those sets in Kingsland, Georgia, with that crew, and being, a security dude that gets beat up, or what I think I only got beat up in the outtakes. Actually, that was a lot of fun. Great time.
Folks, if you haven't watched Star Trek Continues, I strongly encourage you to find it on YouTube. If you have any love for the original series, then this is the fan production to watch. It is top notch.
And great attention to detail. Like, they were very, very serious about their attention to detail.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you never
Trek.
watched the show, you think this was it. This is Star Trek.
Right. And actually, Rod Roddenberry gave them the biggest compliment I've heard, which was when they premiered, I think it was this episode in Vegas a couple years ago. He said, to the audience, he says, as far as I'm concerned, this series is canon, which was really cool. I thought that was about the biggest compliment a group of Star Trek fans could hear.
Is it? You said series? It's a series?
Yeah, they did
There
like
are,
11
I
or
believe
12.
11 episodes. Yeah. 11 episodes. And it picks up where the end of the original series was, and it goes up to like right before the first movie, as far as the time frame that they cover. And it's very good. Very good.
Yeah. Now, Darlena
Make sure you
there
check that out.
looks like it's a compilation. I don't know where that one was made, that compilation. But it's got me in Space Command. It's got me in Horizon, and it's got me just staring at myself there. That Horizon one's really cool too. Shout out to Tommy Kraft. I got to play a Romulan ambassador who was the villain of the movie, and it's great fun to finally get to play, like an evil Romulan, which is always great.
Romulans aren't evil.
You look surprisingly similar to Discovery Spock in that picture.
Really?
Look a little Discovery Spockish in there.
Huh. I can see it.
Keep my eye on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sue, looks like that's a picture of me at Kamikaze, which is the LA Comic-Con. I recognize like the tentacles. That's kind of the Cthulhu guy is their thing.
You've got that stance like, come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Why you mad though?
It's the action figure stance. That's exactly an action
Exactly.
He's ready.
Speaking of action figure, just real quick, our good friend Darth, some of you may know Darth, he has a lot of Star Wars toys, but if you call them toys or dolls, he says they're they're action figures.
They're action figures.
So
I'm
be
the same
careful
way.
about
I like this one better.
You're right.
Oh, there
It
we
sounds
go.
like sounds like Chief O'Brien. It's not a toy. It's
Mhm.
what is it in the Alamo?
Elmo.
It's getting a little
The
nipply
Alamo.
in here.
He said they
Alamo.
weren't
Oh.
toys. Worf was calling them toys, and he said they were something else. But I think he said
What
action
deodorant
figures.
are you wearing here, Ryan? I'm just curious. It smells not bad.
That is that's arrogance.
Yeah.
That's the smell you're smelling. It's just arrogance.
Yeah.
It's French arrogance.
That's it.
Yvette is
French
nodding at that
arrogance.
one. And mercifully, Yvette just has a GIF, so we're safe there.
We're just gonna stay here. I've seen those other ones. I was like,
Sorry.
She's like, I'm not gonna put it out there. I'm not getting myself up under those arms right there.
no way.
Go back to this one.
Anyway,
So
TJ,
I
was there
think-
more?
Yes. So I know you said that we had a
Nice.
question to answer for Chase, so we'll circle back to that. But we would like to go around the room, and everyone has a special message for Ryan. So let's start with Eve.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many nice things on Facebook and Instagram so far, and I think I'm just going to echo most of those. I think we're just all so grateful for how you've just tirelessly worked to get things better for all of us in the last 18 months, and to distract us and to give us more of a sense of community in what has been a really difficult and challenging time for so many people. I've never known someone who's worked so hard. I mean, you just seem to never get any sleep, and you've done all of that for us whilst, managing the Voyager campaign, which is, record breaking. It's just absolutely incredible. And just from a personal perspective, I just want to say that I'm really, really grateful for all the kind check-ins and all the shout outs that you gave to me over the past few months while I've been off work and well, and it's just meant the world, and it's just really helped me get through that. So I just want to say thank you. You are really living up to your social media account name. You really are incredible, and we're all really grateful for everything that you do for us.
Wow. First of all, thanks very much, Eve. That's very nice. Secondly, TJ, you shouldn't have started with Eve, because that is like crazy pressure on everybody else to say something that nice. That is totally unfair to everybody else. But I really appreciate that, Eve. There's a lot of things I could say in response where you're basically kind of talking about yourself there, because you're super nice and supportive, and you're wearing a giant turkey on your head. And I don't even know if they have turkeys in Wales, but anyway, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's actually a French cock.
Oh,
I'm not gonna say anything.
See?
I'm not gonna-
Oh, wow. There it is.
Okay.
Yvette,
No
I
one-
swear it's not usually like this. Don't let
No
this be
one
the only
is
time you
going to
join us.
top a French
Oh,
cop.
I've been here before. You forget I have been here before.
Yeah.
Yvette knows.
This is what I was trying to. We wear this to the rugby, so this is James's French.
We need to
supporting hat, so-
apologize to Darlena.
I love
Sorry,
it.
Darlena. Apologies to you.
Sorry,
This
I
might,
write that down.
this might be new to you.
Yeah, to be fair to Ryan, the show is hijacked right now. So
Thank you.
I love it.
Tim, what would you like to say to Ryan?
First of all, I joined this last year right as I was retiring from the Navy, and it's been a great experience to meet all of you and to actually kind of give back what Deep Space Nine, when I rewatched it a few years ago, what it did for me. But Ryan, look at those pecs and those abs. How can you not love this?
Yeah.
But no, thank you for hosting this, and I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on Twitter, and that's how I found you guys. And so the rest is history. And thank you, Eve, for sending me a message because I didn't know what was going on. So I was scrambling to find a picture of Ryan this afternoon. So
You found the right one.
Tim, I got to say thank you very much. That's really awesome. And I have to say my favorite thing about you, Tim, when I think of Tim Baum, you see everybody, he mutes himself oftentimes. So then when he laughs, you see this, but you don't hear it because he's got like such a great hearty laugh. But then when you don't hear it, it's just you're only getting half the enjoyment of it. But anyway, that's what I remember is a very muted, good laugh. Thanks, Tim.
Sue, you're up.
Again, I guess from the beginning. It was Aaron that brought me here. But in the beginning, I came to this community, this fantastic community. And I didn't want to be on camera because my mom had just died. And my camera wasn't compatible with Apple or Safari. And I can remember the first time trying to get on camera. And Ryan, you were just so kind. And from that second forward, you have just been so fantastic at the way you handle everybody, your kindness, your bad jokes, which really aren't bad. I can't believe how witty you are. I think it's great. I know that you have an unbelievable work ethic. You must not get any sleep. But the most important thing is your kindness and your friendship and how much you've done for this community. The list is too long to list. So thank you. And I hope that you have a really great, wonderful birthday.
Thank you. I am actually right now. And Sue, I think everybody that was there remembers your first day where you had the audio but not the video, and you were
Google Chrome.
Yeah, you were super nice and super sweet, and we're all like, "Who's this new person?" What? And you're like, "You'll find out next week." But this week, this week I'm kind of going incognito, and I'm really happy that this community could be there for you in a what was a very difficult time. I think your timing was perfect, and we love having you. You've been an amazing addition, except for that hat. But we always like it when you're showing off your new Star Trek outfits too.
Yeah.
Sue is a fashionista, if you didn't know. Yvette, you're up.
Oh. All right. Well, I wanted to be here because definitely for your birthday, because you're a great guy. Just all the time that we've known each other, you've just been very supportive. I don't even know why. We just hit it off because your jokes are terrible. But
I think that's why we hit it off. You're the one that says the emperor has no clothes.
Right. Now, I just wanted to thank you for being a great Star Trek ambassador. Your kindness is just wonderful. You always have a kind word. You always make people feel good, even if some days you'll say something to me or I'll hear that you said something and you have no idea how much it means. Like you, I work like crazy, and some days it's a lot. And you want to stay happy for other people, but I do get it. It's tough being the happy one all the time. So I know that sometimes it's not always that way. So I appreciate you always being there for everybody. I know you're going through a lot. I don't know I haven't checked in with you on how your pain is going, but hopefully you're doing better. And just know that I think about you guys all the time. It's just that work and kids and other things are just crazy. So thank you. Happy birthday. Enjoy it. Eat a lot of cake, drink some alcohol, get drunk, get laid, whatever. Just have a great day. All of the above.
Yvette, you've definitely had some very difficult times, so we totally understand when you either can't make it or sometimes we just don't have the energy to be a pile of happiness. And we know that you've had some tough times, and it's been really amazing that you've been supporting us throughout everything, and you're always so friendly and good with us. I mean, you have kids too. Like, so when you're busy, people with kids are extra busy, and we get that, you know.
And
Cirroc
adult
knows,
children are
I
worse
don't.
than little children. I just want you to let you know. It's the adult children that are Cirroc just. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's it. So look forward to that, Cirroc. That's the scary part. But thank you, Yvette. We totally love you, and we really appreciate you. And I know that even when you can't make it, you're out here supporting us and you're keeping it real on your end too. You're making things happen.
Thanks to you guys,
yourself,
I
which is
appreciate
awesome.
You.
Yeah.
You and Cirroc helping us out. Cirroc, you know that you're the best. Everyone loves your episode for the Sci-Fi Sisters. You're our most listened to episodes. I just wanted to let you know that also.
Shout out to my sisters.
Thanks for that also. I appreciate you.
He'll be back.
We love it. I'll be back.
Darlena.
So just want to say happy birthday, Ryan. I know I'm new here, and I've been following the 7 through for a bit because watching Deep Space Nine with my parents, you know, was always so important for me, and especially, you know, now that they're gone, and seeing the reviews of the DS9 episodes brings back all these wonderful memories of watching it with my parents. And the virtual TrekCon was really awesome because off and on, I'm not ashamed to say this, sometimes I battle with depression, and going through the shutdown was very hard because I'm also a leader of groups, and not being able to be with my friends and everything and do our events and activities and charity and be around the kids and our costumes and everything and our superhero costumes and taking gifts to them for Christmas was just really, you know, really hard to deal with because I've been doing charity and stuff with my cosplay group for like 10 years. So to go a year without having to be able to be around the charitable organizations that we normally do things for was very hard for me. And then not being able to go to Star Trek convention, and I've been going to Vegas for about 14 years. And so last year was my first year missing it. So the TrekCon was like amazing because it was online, and I'm kind of old fashioned. I'm not really for the online stuff too much, but you guys did such a great job. You made it feel like I was actually at Vegas. Like the whole aura and feeling was one of closeness and love, you know, that same feeling that you get when you're at the Vegas con. So I want to thank you for that. And I, you know, learned from you because I had to learn to get out of myself and realize that I need to do more online stuff for my groups. So I was kind of like the last holdout, believing that we would be back to doing things live like in the last year. But your con, you and Cirroc and all the guys that work hard on it, you inspire me to want to do more, learn more about the technology to do online events. And so that was great because that helped to keep the people together and everything. So you're a great leader and you're a great source of inspiration. And I thank you for all that you do. You have yourself a most wonderful birthday. And I look forward to, you know, being a part of the, you know, this whole family. I'm new, but I look forward to meshing in and osmosing with you people, bonding more.
Well, thank you, Darlena.
Thank you.
That's really awesome. I just wanted to say a couple things about that. Number one is that you joined us recently, but you were already very active in the community, and we already knew about that. So it doesn't feel like you just joined recently, especially because you came in right away and you started asking like crazy questions of people and really injecting some new life into the group. So you don't feel like a noob around here. You're definitely part of the family, and you've acclimated to us and we've acclimated to you, but also that you're doing without I don't know if you realize it, but kind of what's more important than anything we're doing, which is when you say things like, you know, that you're struggling with depression, those are the kind of things that help anybody that's watching this, is to hear other people saying that they've got this, or they're struggling with that, or they've worked through this or that, because just hearing other people say that gives these people the strength to deal with it, to work with it, to address it, to tell other people to go find the help. And, you know, honestly, that's one of the most important things I think that's happening in the world today are people that are willing to publicly say those kinds of things that in the past were not welcomed. You know, people did not want to say it. People did not want to hear it. And I'm just, you know, really happy that you're able to say it so calmly and easily, which means you probably have said it and done it in the past before. And so I just want to thank you for being one of those people that's leading by example that way.
Yeah. So, Jeff the Llama.
Oh, there's the llama.
He wants to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to yours.
How long is that guy going to last?
I don't know. It's still like he's not even half flat. I'm surprised.
He sleeps in a cryogenic chamber.
Yes, he's ageless, just like you, Ryan. Ryan, I want to express just great appreciation for who you are. I mean, I think you do a lot more than even we think that you're involved in. And for someone that works so hard and so tirelessly and gives so much of self, you're always a joy to interact with. And that's rare. Most people who run like a chicken with their head cut off will bite your head off because they just don't have time. And so I appreciate that you're always approachable and always easy to interact with and actually a joy to interact with. I remember the first time that I signed on for a free for all, and I was kind of clueless as to how the whole thing worked. So when I signed on, I didn't know if we were recording or not. And I think I actually had prepared for the wrong episode because I was a week behind because I didn't know that the recording was a little bit ahead. That's a behind the scenes secret, folks. But
that was probably my fault for not, nowadays I tell people which episode we're doing, but back then
he does. Yeah, that has changed. But I also, when I signed on, I didn't know if I signed on and we're already recording or not. So I was super frigid, and then I think at some point you said, "Oh, we're not recording," and so I loosened up. But again, walking into an unknown situation, I immediately felt welcomed by everyone. You, Cirroc, I think even Ira Stephen Bear was there. So that was an extra privilege for my first time around. But, ever since then, nothing has changed. And so I really appreciate that. Also, like Darlena was thinking about the virtual TrekCon and how just revolutionarily important that was at that time as we were going into this great unknown of trying to keep ourselves socially, physically distant so that we didn't kill each other. But still being able to stay, connected with the Trek community and our friends here, I think was more important than we even realize now. I think in the years to come, we'll look back at that and says that was, part of us not falling apart as people. And so, thank you for all of the effort that you contributed to that. It was a very special event, just like Darlena mentioned. I'm gonna shut up now for a second.
TJ, speaking of virtual TrekCon, when we do, and that was kind of our goal for virtual TrekCon, was just to give everybody a little bit of happiness and peace and love and connection so that we don't, go completely nuts or angry or aggro. But I will tell you that more often than not, when I'm editing something or adding a song for that, I'm thinking of you, TJ. I'm like, oh, TJ's gonna love this. Or I go, oh, I'm gonna add this song for TJ. Let's see if he knows this quote. And then sometimes TJ's like, oh yeah, I didn't watch it. Oh.
I didn't watch it yet is usually what I'll say. Yeah, so everybody, I know a lot of people appreciate your puns, but I appreciate your music references.
That was one of my first memories, was you said something about in the comments, and Cirroc's gonna hate you for this, but you said the musical references are on point or something like that. And I was like, that's all I needed. I just needed one person to encourage me one time, and that's it. Sorry, Cirroc.
So you're saying there is a chance. Yeah.
But thanks, TJ. We love you, man.
Yes, sir.
We love you.
Homer Frizzell, bring it home.
Yeah, so I have a three-parter. One, while Dr. Gruner was extolling your virtues, Melissa sent me a WhatsApp and said, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Two, I think Eve and everyone else has said a lot of nice things about you. So I don't have to tread over well-trodden ground. So I'd like to say thank you for inviting me to a party at STLV 2019, where there's no way I would have even known about it otherwise. I got to meet some great people. And then to tie it in a little bit to this episode, if Ryan T. Husk were on Risa, according to his IMDb page, what would he have with him? And could you tell us the story as to why?
I don't remember this. So you're gonna have to tell me.
What?
So according to your IMDb page, the one thing that you would always have with you, and perhaps even now, are a pair of nail clippers.
Okay, so I do have a story, and thank you to Melissa, and thank you, Homer, for being so rad, and we're looking forward to seeing you in a couple months for more parties and more fun at Star Trek Las Vegas. But the answer to that question is, a couple years ago, or about a year and a half ago, I think, we had a family reunion up in Northern California. And, well, of sorts, I think it was because my other uncle passed away, but, you know, it's still kind of a family reunion. And one of my uncles, he said something about, do you ever check your IMDb page? And I was like, I don't know, I guess. And so he read that thing, you know, that quote or whatever, that trivia thing. And I was like, that's weird. I don't remember that. And he's like, I added that, and I wanted to know if you'd ever notice. He said he added it years ago. so I had no, because I think it says because of his favorite uncle or something like that. Like
it's a reference to an uncle, yes.
That's him that did it. So, and
So I
apparently,
thought that was an interesting trivioid, as you might say.
very interesting trivia.
Yeah, some great Ryan knowledge.
So I think that's a good lesson to us all to sometimes not believe everything that you read and to get into fact checking.
I mean, in fairness, I'll bring, you know, nail clippers, I guess, if I leave town.
No, clearly it's not entirely true. And who knows what everyone on DS9 would have brought with them to Risa. Apparently Worf didn't even bring his bathing suit.
He did, the gold. Didn't you see the
No,
gold?
that was packed for him.
Man.
Yeah, because he was surprised. It's like,
Know
Thank
he's not a good
goodness.
planner.
That your question, Homer, could have gone in a way worse direction when you said, what would Ryan take with him at Risa? I was like, oh no.
Yeah, no, I was trying to keep it, you know, I did a lot of research, Ryan, and I came across this factoid about you, which is not a factoid.
Well, it is because it's the story behind it is the cool trivia,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it's good to know you're keeping your page up to date.
Cirroc, you have any special words for Ryan today?
Oh man, Ryan, happy birthday, man.
Hey, thanks. See you later, everybody. Oh,
Nothing really else to say.
Keep your ears open.
No, you know what, Ryan, you're such an endearing person. It's so easy to like you. I remember the first time I met you, I didn't know you from anybody at the time, but there was something about your energy that I was like, I think I want to get to know that guy a little bit more. And the more I get to know you, the more I want to get to know. And that's just kind of been who you are. Really respect your intelligence, your passion, your authenticity. You know, I believe you really care about people you really care about what you do. And I think it shows in the work that you put in and the results that you get. You know, it's been a real pleasure of mine to be a partner with you. Every time we get together and do our thing, it just feels natural. There's no work at it. There's no effort. It's just a conversation. And that to me is just a testament to, you know, how your mind works and the kind of chemistry that we have. So I just really, I'm grateful that we have this opportunity to work together. I'm grateful that I was able to spend the time with Aaron on this podcast, because I cherish those times and those conversations and this relationship that we've all kind of built up together. And I really love every one of you guys, because you really are part of my extended family. And I look forward to us having these conversations and catching up with each other and each other's lives and being there. And I think more of that was emphasized during this kind of lockdown more than ever. It kind of put in perspective how much we mean to each other. And that's what I really get out of having this experience with all of you, and Ryan, with you at the helm as our captain. I just think it's amazing. So thank you, man. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Cirroc. I want to echo that like, thank goodness you're easy to get along with. Man, this would be such a pain in the ass. What if we didn't like each other, man? Thank God, like, you're a good actor or whatever, but like, we definitely, it doesn't feel like work, right? It just feels like, it feels like we're just coming in, you know, we're going to talk, at least for me, it feels like, oh, good. Today I'm going to hang out with my buddy and say fun stuff and talk about a show that I like, and it's going to be good fun and a good time. And thank you, Cirroc, for, you know, for everything, for just, you know, everything that I'm always kissing your ass about. It's all true. I love it when you shake your head when I say something stupid. That's why I do it. It gives me strength. Every time you go like this, you go. Yeah, thanks, man.
You're awesome, Brian, and thank you for, you know, just bridging us all together, because I think it's been a special treat for all of us as a family to kind of grow together, to learn each other, and how much we have in common. I think we always focus on what our differences are, but I think what we do here is we talk about what we have in common. We talk about things that we can all relate to, and you know, that's one of the joys for me. But totally. Melissa, you didn't get a chance to talk. I don't think you got a chance to talk, and TJ might have skipped you. So I want to make sure.
See, like Vanessa Williams, like my Vanessa Williams joke earlier, we saved the best for last, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, TJ.
Only TJ got that one.
Nice shirt, Homer, by the way.
Thank you. Yes.
The song. Oh, nice.
Melissa's probably gonna make us cry, so that's why I saved her.
I take it that reference was to a song.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, save the best for last.
Yeah.
It's a Vanessa Williams song.
It's Vanessa Williams.
My neighbor.
Very appropriate for this week.
I pieced it together.
There you go. Good job, Homer. You got it.
Thanks. I might be slow, but I get there in the end.
That's right. Slow and steady.
Yeah. I would love to hear from Melissa.
Melissa.
Hi. Yeah, I'm yes, I'm try not to make you cry. But because there's a lot that I want to say. And I'm gonna try not to cry. And it's not gonna work.
Will it help if I put on this hat that you made?
Yes.
Oh, put on the hat.
Yeah.
Take your time, Melissa.
So,
there we go.
Nice.
Yay.
Oh, that's
that's better.
That's walking art.
It is. There are many reasons I am grateful for you, Ryan. I am grateful that you are piloting this ship, that you have kept it going. Sorry. That you have kept it growing in spite of our collective loss. And the community that has been built through your tireless work, and I'm so grateful for your tireless work, is this community is exactly what Aaron dreamed of for the 7th rule. And I am so, so thankful for that. And I'm so grateful to get to experience that with all of you. And I didn't mean to be a crybaby. And I'm grateful for your friendship and your kindness. I echo it from what everyone else says because it's true. You have a wonderful ability to include everyone and think about everyone. And that's a really powerful gift that not everyone has. And it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I don't know what else to say because I'm gonna keep crying. So
well, thank you, Melissa. I'll jump in then.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, one of the great things about you is that, you know, even if you couldn't get the words out, we already know how you feel because you always let us know. You're very open and honest with your feelings, so I appreciate that. So even if you feel as though there's maybe something you wanted to say and you didn't, you know, you forgot to say it or you didn't say it right, or I just jumped over your words just now, it's okay because we already totally all know. And, you know, Aaron is who we do this for, but secondarily it's you for sure. And you're definitely like, you know, you're kind of like a guiding light to us. And Cirroc and I, when we decided to keep this going, we knew we were going to do this, you know, and, you know, in Aaron's name and for Aaron and continuing on what he wanted, and he was very clear with what he wanted. He was very communicative and vocal about it. So it's very easy to guess. I can't take myself seriously with this hat, but, but the thing that Cirroc and I didn't really know is how everybody else was going to do the heavy lifting for us. All of you guys do so much for us and you make us look so good. Anytime people watch this show, they're just like, how are there so many cool people involved with this? And that, you know, you make us look really good. It makes us look like we, you know, we hit a jackpot every time. And, you know, Melissa, you're absolutely at the top of that list and everybody loves you. So, you know, we already, you know, we know how you feel, and I hope you know how we feel about you. And we also didn't know, Cirroc and I, that you would be so present in this. We absolutely wanted it and welcomed it, but we had no idea if you're just going to go do your own thing and say, you boys just do whatever you want, you know. But we're beyond grateful and fortunate that you've absolutely supported it. And, you know, you gave your blessing, you gave your thoughts of encouragement, you gave your opinions, you joined us with things like virtual TrekCon. You know, you're obviously like the third main person on this show. And so we're very, very grateful for you. So thank you.
Yeah, Melissa, you are the first lady of 7th Rule. Shout out to our man, our main guy.
We got the the approval, Ryan, of their
You get
approval.
one a little
Aaron.
bit both.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but sometimes I get the disappointed one on that picture.
Yeah, you get the approval. This one is the approval.
Awesome.
Oh God.
So I think there's cake, isn't there? And I know we may be short on time, but do we still have time to answer Chase's questions real quick?
We could do it real quick, but remember, it's almost midnight in Wales. Sorry, Eve.
Yes.
Thank you for being such a champ for us.
I wouldn't miss it, Ryan. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Don't rush for me. Don't rush for me. I can stay up.
Oh, well then, everybody, would you guys like to say something nice about Melissa?
We love you, Melissa.
Love ya.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have time to do all that though. 'Cause there's so many
Yeah.
nice things to say.
That's
All right.
So much.
too many.
All right, next episode then. So real quick, what
Yeah.
Chase just asked, and this was relevant to this episode, was that this episode didn't do too well in the IMDb score. And she apparently had heard that a lot of the fans don't like it. And she was wondering why. I had my own theory, but I was wondering if any of you guys have a theory as to why this episode didn't do as well with the fans, or if you agree with that or disagree with it.
Great question.
What was the IMDb score on this one?
5.6.
Oh, wow.
Whoa,
I know.
gosh, that's
I think that's
harsh.
low. I think that's like lower than that one where they
this
went on
wasn't
the
the worst
planet.
episode.
Yeah, but it
Wasn't
was.
the worst episode.
I think it's the worst score.
And there
Yeah,
are no
but
lizards
it's-
or salamanders involved. That's pretty amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
I liked it. What do you think, Homer? Do you have any
I have
theories
some ideas.
as to why you
Yeah.
gave it a 2?
Actually, I was thinking it was 6.4 before I looked, which isn't even, that's not a great rating, but 5.6, I was surprised it was even less than I gave it. I didn't find Worf's decisions believable.
Mm.
So I thought they were a trick actually just to escalate what was going on in Risa. I didn't believe there wouldn't be any repercussions for one tearing up the exhibit hall or whatever, the dining area. And then it was sort of this lame, oh, they don't have the courage. And then I thought that, okay, so maybe there's no scarcity and everybody, there's no such thing as money. So this all is magically replaced. And then all these hundreds of thousands of people who end up losing and leaving, there are no repercussions. And I thought, no, it's a little hard to believe. So I was taken out of the story by Worf. I thought that Dax and her concerns, I thought she was almost a little too understanding and too willing to try to make it work. I thought it was a trick played on the audience about this sort of Bajoran breakup ritual that, it was like, oh, we're hiding this thing over here. And was like, yeah, okay, that's cute. But then I thought, that's kind of lame that you pulled that on us like that. And I thought that at the end, Worf just tossing the guy was kind of like a lame thing to do. And I think that his answer that it was about trust wasn't even really what it was about in the end. So I just didn't think that virtually any of the pieces fit together.
I agree.
Okay, so that sounds like validating that score a bit.
I definitely don't think it's a 7.
No.
Eve, what about you? What do you think?
No, I have to say, I totally agree with what Homer said. I just
Nice
think
French cock, by the way.
I had to get another use out of it, so I thought it was perfect for today. I just think the whole relationship between, I just found it quite uncomfortable to watch that aspect, and I think it was too focused on Dax and Worf, and I just thought Worf was just, I'm not going to use an unpleasant term, but he was just toxic. I could sort of talk, or if he was basically acting like this.
French, Eve, French.
I just don't think Dax would have. She just, the way we know Dax, there is no way she would have put up with that from Worf. And I just found there was far too much focus on that, and that was kind of driving the story. I actually found the essentialist or the new essentialist idea quite interesting, but I think that almost warranted its own sort of episode and exploration. I just didn't think that gelled with like I said, I think what Homer said, the way that Worf got into it was just so tenuous, and it just wasn't, the whole thing wasn't believable. And I just think, the way that they brought that in could have, because Risa seems to me just effectively a brothel planet. So you could kind of see where they came from. I think that would have been a much more interesting exploration of that, and what that meant, and how the Federation thought of that, and what people generally thought of it, rather than bringing it into just Worf being jealous of Dax. I just thought that was just didn't quite work, did it? I assume that's why people didn't like it. It just didn't really fit with what we know of Deep Space Nine.
Interesting.
I agree. Yes. It was fake and forced. A lot of it was just too fake and too forced. I agree. The essentialist aspect was a good premise, and it could have been developed a lot better. And I liked when they showed, like the other episode where they came upon the people who were they crashed and they had to learn how to live on their own, but they really had the technology, but the leader was hiding it. Those premises where they want to challenge the comfortableness of Starfleet and challenge people to go back to remember how it was, that kind of protagonist mindset. I like when they do episodes like that. And this one could have really been more developed. And I think that's why a lot of fans didn't like it. They had a good premise, but then they threw in too much trivial stuff that I think took it away. Yeah.
That's interesting. What do you think, Tim Baum? That is a sexy man behind you, by the way.
This was not one of my favorite episodes, but like I mentioned in one of the other podcasts, it's like I'm fascinated about Risa, how that came to be. It's kind of like the Vegas of the galaxy.
Yeah.
But I did find the whole Worf storyline where he's going psycho. It's like, I couldn't buy that. Chase and Bashir, yeah, okay, I could buy that. Okay, we're having a breakup holiday, but so yeah, I had a tough time buying this episode. So
okay, interesting. Sue, what do you think?
I hated. I absolutely thought Worf doesn't act like that. He's not an asshole. He's Klingon, but he's not an asshole. And he was just so close-minded that when he's not normally. I mean, that's not him at all. I felt like it was jagged, like it was a bunch of different pieces that they just tried to stick together, and they didn't mesh well. And I dreaded watching it. I thought how interesting that we just did one of my favorite episodes ever. And before I watch it today, I'm gonna have to watch the worst episode, one of my least favorite episodes. But I watched it, and I forgot that there is some humor in it that's funny. But in general, yeah, and I agree that no way would Jadzia put up with that kind of crap from anybody, especially Worf.
Sounds like
at least I could have done was put him in a bathing suit.
Why, Sue? Careful. There's a Klingon Discovery joke there, and we know that some of you may not know, but TJ belongs to a group that says you're too obsessed with the Klingon thing or something like that. What was it, TJ?
You're too obsessed with the Klingon to appendages.
Okay. I was wondering where you were going.
Yeah.
The redundancy.
Why did they always show the women in bathing suits, at least, but not the men?
What about Bashir's really sexy tank top, though?
That was great. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It gave the
Yeah.
Cirroc puzzle
How did
piece
Ryan
uniform a
dip?
run for its money.
Finally, somebody has a worse outfit than me.
Well,
Mm.
Well,
I don't know. Wait, I just gotta say real quick though, you know, it's
Yeah.
not.
I knew that was coming. I knew
there
it.
it comes.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Thank you for that.
As a matter of fact,
Thanks
I
for
thought
that,
this was the
Ryan.
answer to what would Ryan take to Risa, and it's Captain Picard's road. That's
Yeah,
actually
there you go.
Come on, Ryan. It's a family show.
Not the nail
Next
clippers.
generation.
It's a family show, but can I say something about Picard? Maybe it's just me, but the guy doesn't wear any underwear a lot of the time he's on camera, and it drives me insane. And not in
Yeah.
a good way. In the next
Yeah.
generation. No, put on underwear.
I hadn't noticed.
I just
Yeah,
I
don't-
wanted to
don't
say
look
it's
for
like
that.
when Next
Wow.
Generation was going on, my wife and I were dating and then got married. And she always had a crush on Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah.
And I remember after we've been together 30 some years, she was like, "You're never going bald, are you?" I'm like, nope.
I
Damn.
was just gonna say you better lose the hair, buddy.
Well, she
no.
she dealt with me high and tight, but she's like, "Yeah, I like bald men." I'm like,
Oh.
"Son, we've been married 27 years. You're stuck with me." So
It is what it is.
Well, Yvette, any thoughts on this episode or on Picard wearing or not wearing underwear?
Only thing I remember from this episode is that Vanessa Williams was in it. I think I made that comment in the chat
Mhm.
that we had
Mhm.
before. Yeah, it's pretty much all I remember. I remember it was very unbelievable.
Hmm.
And Picard wearing those, well, the man has big hands, so he should have bigger,
Underwear.
that's it. That's all I got.
Maybe I could find a better picture. Hang on.
Okay, no,
Oh,
no,
no, please.
more of those.
Oh, gosh.
TJ, what do you think? Was this? It seems like the consensus is that this is fairly rated so far. What do you think?
Well, you know that I'm going to do the devil's advocate thing like I always do. I mean, the first thing is we got Chase back in this episode, which is super wonderful. I thought, the story with her and Bashir was pretty good. I also think while what Worf did in that particular story wasn't all that together greatly developed, it is a moment of character growth for Worf's character, because we've we've known him to have that stick so far up his butt. Even Guinan pointed it out that he doesn't laugh, and she's heard Klingons laugh, and we've seen him on the Klingon home world, and the Klingons are being themselves, and he still got that stick up his rear. And here, I think Jadzia was just determined to pull that stick out of his butt, and she did. So I'm gonna give it credit for that at least. Now, I mean, this is not the episode I go and pull up to play when I just want to watch some DS9, but I mean, there is that. So there's my devil's advocate bit.
All right. Yeah. What do you think, Melissa?
I don't hate this episode. And there's, I get where everyone else is coming from, and I have to say, well, no, I wouldn't say that. Sorry, lots of thoughts going through my head, but I didn't hate this episode. One, I thought the Bajorn breakup was intriguing. It's an interesting look at ending a relationship, and why does it have to be sour if it ends? So but it did end sourly a little bit because of Quark.
Yeah.
But but so I thought that was an interesting look at an end of a relationship. And then Jadzia, I think, really knows who Worf is more than Worf knows who Worf is.
Yeah.
And I think that she sees that more beyond the stick up his ass. So she's going to have a bit more patience with him than he has with everyone. So that I don't think is too far-fetched for me. Vanessa Williams' character being there, I could see why Worf would get jealous, because the temptation would be there for me too. So I mean, the woman's gorgeous. So
Yeah.
but I think that I do think that Worf should have a little more faith in Jadzia and trust her a little bit more. But I also think that shows that he doesn't trust himself that much to trust Jadzia enough to not have lunch with Captain Baudet. So I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible episode, and the I don't know. There's a lot more believable moments for me than for others in this group, I guess. It's not my favorite episode, but I don't hate it.
That's well said, Melissa.
Yeah. What'd you say, Sue?
Where did they film that?
Oh, Chase said in Malibu.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
And Cirroc, we didn't get, I kind of spoke up for what I thought the fan perspective was, but we didn't get your thoughts on just kind of what you thought of the episode overall, whether you thought it was one of your, more preferred ones or less.
I didn't really hate this episode. Like, there's been episodes that we've watched where I thought, wow, this is moving along slowly. This is going to be a long 45
There's only
minutes.
one for me, and you know which one that one is.
Yeah, but this one wasn't that episode. This wasn't like that for me. This kind of, for one, I've heard Risa being talked about so much that I was interested to see, oh, what is it going to look like? And they actually had these tropical shots of it that made it look like Maui with, two suns, and, it looked kind of like a Hawaiian with the waterfall. So I was kind of curious to see, what does it look like? And so that part was kind of, and I like to see the trill spots that were all the way down Dax when she was wearing a bikini. So I got to see that the spots go all the way down. I think that was a question she gets asked a million times, but that was confirmation of that. But I think the thing that is not believable was the fact that the idea of this episode started off with Worf and Dax wanting to get away on their own little kind of romantic vacation, and that people were inviting themselves on board for their own reasons. But it seemed as if Worf, if you know what Rise is all about, you know what is being offered there. It's like, what Vegas is all about before you go there, it's going to be slot machines and this and, shows, and you kind of have an idea what you're going in. So for him to go there and then be trying to join this essentialist movement to overthrow and get rid of it, it seems weird, because you went there because you want that. You're going for the relaxation, beach getaway, vacation, and then for you to get there and then not be prepared for, like, I didn't even bring a bikini, like, a bathing suit, like who does that? Who goes skiing and doesn't bring their skis and their snow jacket or whatever? You go to a place prepared for the thing that you're going to be doing. And it seemed like he was going to this place to, like, be critical of it. It just didn't seem natural in that aspect of it. I think it would have been better off played like, hey, we're trying to do our thing. Leave us alone. We don't want to do the group tour thing. We're hanging out on our own little cabana. Stop bothering us with your problems. That I would believe more than, let's protest this idea of this paradise. And I don't like the idea of the weather being so nice or whatever it is. So that I think they lost me on that. So I think that was the biggest fault of the episode. It just didn't ring true. If you're going on a vacation with your girl to a nice little destination, you wouldn't go there with this kind of intention or mindset, and then being that pouty and aggressively upset about everything. You could be upset with me here on the station. We don't have to go anywhere.
I have a question too. Another question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever come up before, but so they go to Risa in the runabout. I'm assuming everybody goes to Risa in a runabout, and they beam down. So now there's all these runabouts in orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runabouts
Maybe.
in orbit. I'm thinking
Yeah.
place to steal runabouts.
It's like SpaceX.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, Sue.
Place or anything. What do they do with them?
Yeah. Yeah. You give it to the valet, and
Parks it.
and he parks it in the
Space parking lot.
space parking
If
lot.
it-
Yeah.
I did
If it's a
think
nice, runabout, it's out in front so everybody can look at it.
Right.
They're like a mooring or something like Catalina. I want to know about what they're doing with all these in orbit.
I
Well,
think it's weird
Cirroc-
to beam down into the middle of space where people are lounging about. Like there should have a designated spot for that. You don't just beam
You
down.
could be
to
in the middle
the
of a
party.
volleyball game. Seriously.
Yeah.
Cirroc,
I like
know what to ask.
walking in on the massage.
We know what to ask Robert and Ira next time they come on. We're gonna be like, hey guys,
When
before
you
we
park
get
at
into
Risa.
anything,
Yeah.
Sue wants to know.
Yeah. Who parks these runabouts?
Parking.
This is not their favorite episode.
Uh-oh.
That's a very good one. That's a very good question, sir. We have to follow up on that. But I also have a question, like when Worf walks in on Lita getting a massage, that's like a personal moment. You can't just walk up on me when I'm getting a massage with somebody.
Yeah.
And then be staring at me like, what's going on here? Nah,
Well, she invited him to jump in the milk with her though, so she didn't mind. Remember?
that's true.
So
That's true.
you want to soak in some milk? She says.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we better run. TJ, I can't be the only one whose ears perked up when Cirroc was talking about Worf protesting something, right? When he says, "I must protest. I'm not a married."
Must protest.
Yeah. But anyway, I do want to say thanks to everybody. You guys made this very special. It's one of the best of my 26 birthdays I've ever had. And I just want to thank you. No, Tim, what? But I really appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing and wonderful. And we do appreciate you guys, hopefully as much as you realize it. And if not, then we'll try harder. But thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys so much. And I think that's it. Very special thanks to Chase Masterson for jumping on. Thank you, Homer. Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Melissa, Darlena, Sue, Yvette, TJ. Thanks for doing my job better than me. That was real cool of you.
I could never.
Anyway, I think that's it, right, guys?
Oh, yeah. Dr. Anne Marie wants to say, just thank you very much, Ryan. Happy birthday.
We
She
should all
had the
do it.
episode
shout
rated highly.
We should all do it. Yeah, we should all do an
You had it as a
Anne-Marie
10.
quote. Or yeah,
Yeah,
of course. she
shout
did.
out.
It's a 10. It's obviously a 10. Anyway,
There it is. There you go.
well, thank you all very much. We appreciate you guys. We'll see everybody at home next time. Until then, always remember the 7th rule.